Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. How many times have we heard or have we been told by the Ukrainians, by the Americans, by the Brits that Belarus will enter the war? Many times, at least almost every day when I read Ukrainian news outlets, they tell, hey, Lukashenko is going to join. The Russians are putting pressure. Belarus will start the war against Ukraine. Belarus will invade Poland. Belarus will do this. Well, again, they make some claims, they being the military, the Ukrainian military, not the, some weasels. So the military, when the military says something, must have some information, some hardcore information. And I gotta tell you that I observed that lately, about 2 days ago, the Ukrainians started presenting other generals making statements. I haven't seen this. Very rarely I heard another general or a picture of a Ukrainian general coming and saying, hey, this is what's going on. And then another face of a Ukrainian general, hey, this is what's going on. Usually it's just Zelensky, Ignat, and Danilov. These are sometimes Reznikov. These are the ones who usually show up, and none of them are generals, military. All of them are weasels. So now when you have, why do I say weasels versus generals? Because the generals at least have to be professional in that job. The other guys could be, I don't know, whatever they are, their profession. But these guys are professionals, and they should have, the military cannot go with, when they give you something, they have to have that something. The other guys are politicians, they are opinion makers and so on. Why do we see this variety or diversity of generals all of a sudden? I will explain or try to explain what I think about that. Now let's go and see how Belarus will invade Ukraine. This article comes from Ukrainska Pravda, and this is the title. Putin is going to drag Belarus into ground warfare. And I have a picture of a general here, which I will try to... right there, okay? And that's not the Zuganov, the chief of staff or whatever, the biggest guy, the biggest general over there. It's just a different one. The commander of the Joint Forces of Armed Forces of Ukraine, Lieutenant General Serhiy Naev, never heard of you, believes that during the visit of Russian President Vladimir Putin to Belarus, they will talk about a broader involvement of armed forces of Belarus in the war against Ukraine, in particular in ground warfare. I don't know if you're aware, but the Ukrainians and the British intelligence, no, they didn't tell us that they found a laboratory for the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. No, they didn't tell us that. They keep saying that maybe by February the Russians will conduct a massive offensive against Ukraine. I really believe that, but I don't know if it's going to be February, March, January or April. Anyway, we're going to find out if that's going to materialize. In the meantime, these guys tell us that Belarus is trying to be convinced by the Russians after 9 months, 10 months, 11 months, how many, 10 months something, from February 24th, right? 11 months soon, just to invade. I don't know. We'll see. But first, let's go and see what's going on in this article. So the source is Naev, whose comment publishes command of the Joint Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Didn't make sense to me anyway. Quote, recently, the head of the Kremlin held an official meeting with the leadership of the Armed Forces of Russian Federation, that's true, the whole day, during which, as he personally noted, he considered the proposals of the military command for the near and medium term prospect. Okay, there's general thing, not, they don't say, hey, we're going to do that with Belarus. Immediately after that, he planned a meeting with the leadership of the Republic of Belarus, which will take place soon. Okay, so So you're implying, based on no information, that they will do that. In our opinion, opinion is not based on certain kind of things, you know what I mean? During this meeting, issues of further aggression against Ukraine and greater involvement in the armed forces of the Republic of Belarus is the operation against Ukraine will be worked out, in particular, in our opinion, on land. So he starts by saying, in our opinion, during this meeting, issues of further aggression against Ukraine and greater involvement of armed forces of the Republic of Belarus in the operation against Ukraine will be worked out, in particular, in our opinion, on land. Opinion. I'm looking for assessments, not opinions. So I have here, they say, background. On December 16th, President of the aggressor country, Vladimir Putin, held a meeting with the Security Council where he proposed to discuss cooperation with neighboring countries. Putin also met with the military command on 16th of December and discussed the war of the Russian Federation against Ukraine. On 6th of December 19th, Putin plans to visit Minsk with a broad government delegation. First, a meeting with all the ministers is planned, then a one-on-one meeting between Lukashenko and Putin, and then a press conference. According to reports, the parties will discuss the process of implementing previously adopted joint programs, in particular trade and economic cooperation and joint project, with an emphasis on import substitution, industrialization, cooperation in the energy sector and security issues. Defense ministers of Belarus and Russia, Viktor Krenin and Sergei Shoigu, will participate in negotiations between Lukashenko and Putin in December. On 17th of December, Shoigu inspected one of the occupiers' military groups in the area of the so-called special operation, as the war in Ukraine is called in Russia. So December 19th, which is tomorrow, Putin will visit Belarus in the middle of the war and discuss whatever they will discuss. In the Ukrainian camp, their opinion is that they will force them to join the war on the ground, with the ground forces. What do you think? I don't think that's going to happen. I really I would give that a very low probability. That there's a possibility. I would give the possibility 100%. It's possible, but not probable, because you have to look at the cost and benefits. Well, how much would be the Belarusian army? How big would it be? They all play down the Belarus, that they are bad, they're not prepared, they have a small army, they're rusty equipment, blah, 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 blah. So they said that before. Now, if that's about to happen, you're going to see how they're going to switch and going to say, well, no, Belarusian war machine. That's what they're going to call it, like they always call the enemy, war machine. You have a country of 3,000 people, that's a war machine right there. They have 3 tanks and 2 motorcycles and 1, I don't know, bicycle, and there you have it, the war machine of that country. The same here. Remember when they talked about Saddam Hussein's war machine? I mean, really, and it was like, really, those guys it was a joke. But anyway, these guys believed it. Why? Knowledge is power. Information is power. So here, they were not, even if they would attack, which I think is dumb as hell, to have Belarus involved in this, because once you have involved in there, any other country in the world can, how should I put it, can say, well, we can be part of the war whenever we want, and we can do whatever we want. The problem is, if you do that, you expose yourself to direct attacks from these guys. But I don't see why they would get the Belarusians. Why? So you have other people to die and support you? You use their territory, you use your armies, and that would be it. They would support you, obviously, with some tanks and aviation and military personnel, but I don't think the support would be fantastic. It would help, yeah, obviously, anything that you get is gonna help, but I think the damage that would, and the tactical and political implications are detrimental to the Russians to do such a thing. But as I said, that's possible. I would say low possibility. No probability. I'm sorry. Low probability. Possibility 100%. They can do that. It's possible. But for that, I don't think that Putin needs to come personally to Lukashenko and talk to Lukashenko over there. I don't think so. That he needs to do that. That could have been done without just, you know, tarap. But who knows? We'll find out, right? But for me, it's very interesting that they will show up on the 19th. The whole entourage coming to Minsk. It's too close. But anyway, we'll find out. And I will let you know, definitely. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.